Okay, so this one's kind of a pre-chapter. 18 is part of your curriculum, but it assumes you know chapter 15. So we really need to just review chapter 15 before we go on. So this should be a fairly easy assignment, fairly short. So when you do chapter 18, 18.1, be prepared for longer, because that one will take a lot longer. It'll seem really long just because it'll have a lot of graphs, and I'm going to have to learn how to insert graphs into here. So it'll be a technology learning curve. Basically what we needed you to know is what function notation is. And function notation is when you replace the y with what's called f of x. So it reads f of x. Whoops. And that just means that it's a function of the x, that they're giving you a function and you're plugging x in. So let me show you. It's actually really easy. It just looks confusing at first. You see equations like this. Y equals 8x plus 2. All a function notation is you replace the y with f of x, or whatever variable you're using in the function. Okay, so if I'm using a g in the function, it would be f of g equals, 8g plus 2. So basically, the y is the same thing of f of x. Now for me, that would throw me every time and it did in high school, and then I took a calc class at CC, and I would physically write y in there, and then I would solve it, and then I'd rewrite my answer with f of x. So if you start getting frustrated by it, that's a good way to do it. Worked for me anyway. So if I give you a function like f of x equals 2x plus 3. They're saying, you got to remember that that's the same as saying y. Okay? So if I ask you what happens if x is replaced with 4, then they write it like this, f of 4. So in your other classes that you've taken, they've said, what happens if x equals 4? They've written it like that. Function notation is writing it like this. So all it means is that you're putting a 4 in where the x is. So if I do that, I get 8 plus 3, 19, 11. So you would write f of 4, or function of 4, equals 11. What it means is if you put the 4 into the function. So this is the function. Like when I teach this in my algebra class in the public schools, we talk about a function machine, and we say, well, if you have a machine and it does this every time you put something in, you're putting the 4 in, and the 11's coming out. So this is the x coming in, and this is called f of x, because it's the answer to the function if you put x in there. It looks like f times x. It's not. I know we use parentheses for times. And again, if you just get weirded out, just think, okay, I got to put a 4 in, and this is really y. So y equals 11. So if I give you another function, f of g equals, I don't know, I'm just making this up, 3x minus 2, negative 3x minus 2. They will ask you, they'll say, what's f of, 2, or whatever number. And so you're just putting in a 2 where the x is. Negative 3 times 2 is negative 6, minus 2 is negative 8. And so your answer, you say f of 2, meaning if I plug a 2 in, I will get negative 8. Okay? And they might say find also. I think the directions say find f of whatever. Okay? They're going to throw a couple of these at you in the homework, because I want to make sure that you remember how to do the radicals. So it'll be simple radicals, so something like this, and and I think on the homework we'll ask you like f of 5. So all that means is if you throw 5 in there, what will happen? Oh, and I didn't make this square root of 6, sorry. We'll have to leave that square root of 6. I meant to make that a perfect square. This is what I get for making the video the morning of. Okay, so f of 5 is a square root of 6. I think the ones in the homework are perfect squares, though. The other part is using a graph to indicate the values of the function. So a function can be written in a table, a graph, or an equation. So all three of those are the exact same thing. They're just different forms. Like if you have 50 cents, you could have 2 quarters. You could have 5 dimes. You could have 50 pennies. And so a graph, a table, and an equation can be exactly the same thing. So this is going to be, oh, I know what I can do. I can insert a graph paper into here. Hold on. Oh, that's tiny. There we go. Okay, and I'm going to have to learn how to insert regular graphs in here, or you're going to not want to watch my video for chapter 18. I'll work on it this weekend, but like if I have a graph, I'll try to follow this. And I graph an equation. They might say, what's f of 6? Okay, so, oh, I don't want to do, yeah, I can do 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I can do 6. This is your y-intercept and this is your x. Now remember, f of 6 really means y equals, okay? So they're asking you, what is the y when the x is 6? So you want to look 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So when the x is 6, the y is -1, because the point right there is 6, -1. Because when we name points, it's always x and then y. I always remember that because it's alphabetical. So they're saying, what happens if the x is 6? Well, then the y is -1. The hardest part there is that you might forget which axes you're looking for. You're not looking for y equaling 6. When you're looking across the graph, you're looking for, remember this is an x up here. So you're looking for, on the x-axis, when you hit 6, what is the y? Let's see. They also had some graphs like this. Don't worry about if it's not a linear graph, like a line. They had some that look like this. And I might say, what's f of -3? So again, you're looking along the x-axis, because remember that that's the same as f of x, and f of x is the same as y. So they're asking you, what happens when x is -3? What is the y? So if I go along the x value to -3, and I look at where the y is, and of course I didn't make that a whole number, but that might be, I don't know, 2 3/4 or something, I don't know. You get the idea though. And then the last thing is just tables. So if I give you a table, this will be the quickest video ever. I have no idea why I didn't do it last night. Okay, so if I give you a table x, you've usually seen a table of x and y, right? But remember, we're replacing y with a function notation, so we're calling that f of x. And of course, in your head or on your paper, you can replace it as y. Just don't write y in your answer. Write your answer as f of x. Okay, because they need you to know the function notation for the final. So let's say I give you a table and I give you 0 and 2 and 1 and 5 and 2 and 8 and 3 and 11. I could ask you to use your table to find f of 2. So that's what the question would look like. So if you're going to use your table to find f of 2, you're looking for when y equals 2, not when x equals 2. The biggest error is you're going to go, well, am I looking here or am I looking here? Well, remember, you're looking, oops, you're looking for when x equals 2. I hope I said that right. This is really y, right? And they're telling you that the x is 2. So they're saying, what is the y when x is 2? So you're not looking at this one. You're looking at this one. So you write 8. And that's the end of 18. I'll work this weekend on trying to download snapshots of the graphs. If I can't, I'll just tell you, open your book to, page whatever and look at this graph and I'll walk you through it. But I'll give it my best shot this weekend. Also, I'm going to start sending an announcement out for the final. You have to schedule the final before February 5th, so I'll send an announcement out and then I'll try to call everybody just to make sure they understand. So have a good weekend, and I will open up the next couple chapters and try and get those videos done this weekend, so if you want to work on it, you can work on it early.